What about the whole protein argument about, too much protein for individuals and it harming you? I mean, I get a gram to sometimes 1.4 grams per pound of body weight, but I'm
Mm.
also working out once, sometimes twice a day, and making sure my body's repairing itself. What's the argument about having too much protein?
Yeah, well, the protein argument is mostly related to basically protein promoting this pathway in the body called mTOR. And mTOR is the main growth pathway that promotes muscle growth as well as cell replication. And because of that, it is associated with let's say some cancer development because it doesn't really know what to grow. It just grows everything, the good and the bad. So excess mTOR activation in at least some cell studies and animal studies appears to be associated with accelerated aging and cancer development. But whether or not this can apply to humans is not really known, and as well as the thing that how much mTOR is too much, because you do need it for the good stuff as well. You need it for muscle growth. And if you are, let's say, chronically suppressing mTOR, then you may be at a risk of higher this sarcopenia and frailty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that most of those worries or concerns can be, let's say, reduced if you're doing some form of this time restricted eating, because when you're fasting, then your mTOR is really low because you're not eating anything, and your body starts to, instead of growing, it starts to repair itself and recycle all this junk, which is the good thing. And the problem is that if you're eating, let's say, the standard American diet from sunrise to sunset and even at nighttime, then you are keeping your mTOR elevated all the time, which theoretically it could lead to some accelerated aging and development of some diseases. So yeah, it's actually even more like a matter of eating frequency, not a matter of how much protein are you eating, because even like carbs and insulin, raising your blood sugar by eating carbohydrates will also raise mTOR. So it's not just the protein that raises mTOR. And if you are eating all the time, then that is much bigger of a concern than actually like the protein aspect.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I do want to touch on that because years ago, and this obviously came from bodybuilding culture and athletics, where you have an eating 5 to 7 times a day. And if you're a professional athlete and you're doing several hour long workouts and stuff, I think that's completely different, right? Because they're
Yeah,
completely refuel themselves, and bodybuilders had to
yeah,
reach several thousand calories, so they're having these smaller meals, but still I see people think like I need to eat 5 7 times a day, and then we're snacking dozens of times a day as well. So what do you think about
mhm,
consistently just having your digestive system working by feeding your mouth, that feeding your mouth, like putting food in your mouth, like every
yeah.
single hour, like we see all the time?
Hmm. Well, yeah, it depends on your physical activity levels. So if you are a high level athlete and you are training a lot, or you have like just too many calories to eat per day, then it makes more sense, yeah, to spread out the eating and have like more frequent meals.
Mhm.
But yeah, like the average person who doesn't exercise at all, then for them there is no, let's say, real physiological reason to be eating any more than, let's say, twice a day or something, because their energy demands aren't that high, and they already have like at least a few pounds of extra weight in their body fat that they can carry around with them.
Mhm.
So like, yeah, frequent snacking itself, the problem with that can be just, depends on what snack you're eating as well. If you're eating, usually it's something sweet, something that has carbohydrates and stuff that spikes their insulin, spikes their blood sugar levels, and puts them on this roller coaster of having these big swings in your blood sugar levels, and that usually leads to additional cravings, just brain fog, tiredness, and you do feel that you actually need to eat more. Whereas in reality, if you were to be staying in a state of this semi-ketosis when you're burning your body fat, then those like cravings and hunger would also go away, and people usually spontaneously stop stop those snacks if they go on, let's say, on a keto diet, or they do some intermittent fasting, because it help teaches their body to start using their body fat for fuel again.